Most businesses think they have a lead problem. Some think it's a closing problem. Others think communication needs work. But if that were true, then why is the calendar active, the pipeline active, people taking meetings, and revenue still not where it should be? More often than not, it's not a lead problem. It's a movement problem. People are entering the world of the business. They are just not moving through it. And that's where revenue quietly starts disappearing. A lot of businesses are doing things that should work. Traffic, lead generation, calls, marketing, perhaps coaching. So why does it feel stuck? Because activity on its own doesn't create movement. There has to be something supporting it. A structure, a process, a path that helps people move forward. Without that, money gets spent on visibility and effort, but it doesn't always connect with how the ideal client actually thinks, decides, and buys. It passes right next to them, not through them. And the loss rarely shows up clearly. It tends to show up as, "This looks good, let me think about it." Good conversations with no next step. Interest without commitment. Silence after engagement. Intent with no decision. How much revenue is sitting there disguised as delay? Most revenue doesn't disappear at the objection. It usually disappears earlier when the buyer stops moving, and that's where the situation often gets misread. It gets blamed on lead quality, wrong pricing, and slow market. Sometimes those things matter, but many times the bigger issue is simpler than that. Indecision is rarely random. It's usually a response to friction somewhere inside your sales process. And when that friction isn't visible, the wrong things get fixed. This is also why leaders keep getting dragged back into sales. Founders, CEOs, executives, because without them, momentum changes. Good conversations don't become next steps. Things need explaining again. More content gets sent. More clarification gets added. And that pattern usually means something important. When the same things keep happening, needing to be repeated, the clarity is sitting in someone's head instead of in the structure. It can look like a people issue or performance. But what if the issue was design? Because nothing is built around how your buyer actually moves. There are usually two versions of this playing out. The wrong way is when clients come to me. The ideal client isn't fully clear, neither you. Messaging changes depending on the conversation. Too much information is not enough, creating inconsistency. The process has gaps, so when someone says, "Let me think about it," it gets interpreted as interest, but often it's simply a polite exit. No real decision was made, nothing meaningful happens afterwards. And now follow-up begins, trying to recover something that was never properly built in the first place. The right way, the buyer is clear as you are. Positioning is clear. Messaging matches how they think. The process creates a clear next step. So when someone says they need to think about it, there is no need to chase, because the process already did the heavy lifting. They neither move forward or clearly step away. People rarely move because they received more information. They move when things feel clear, when the next step feels obvious, when the decision feels safe. So adding more detail, more explanation, more content doesn't always help. It creates hesitation. When clarity is missing, friction builds. And friction tends to become indecision. It can look like communication needs improving. Sometimes it does, but many times structure needs improving first. A structure that supports every stage of your buyer's journey. A structure that doesn't rely on leadership stepping in every time. A structure that helps people move forward naturally. Without that, confusion gets managed manually in every sale. Without a system, effort gets wasted. Marketing doesn't connect the way it could. Sales conversations don't convert the way they should. Follow-up doesn't resolve much, and performance gets blamed. But often the deeper issue is design, because nothing has been built around how buyers actually move. If this is already showing why sales can feel active but not consistent, join the waiting list for the live workshop. That's where I will break down how to identify where the friction is happening inside the process, and how to turn it into a path that moves people forward. What makes this difficult is indecision doesn't usually show up in one place. It hides in a few points across the sales process, and many business owners are trying to fix the wrong one first. So where does it usually start? In the next video, I will show you the first place it hides. A lot of businesses assume they are being rejected. That's not what's happening. They are being delayed. And delay is one of the most expensive forms of hidden friction in sales.